Robin here from Toadstool Tarot. Hello, everyone. Hello, Heather. Hello, SCB. From a dark and stormy UK. It's sunny here today. It's been really chilly lately. I think it's going into the low 40s today, so that's warmer than it's been. The wind chill's been into the teens and 20s, I think. Hello, Elspeth and Kristen. So this week, we are into December. Now, was last Saturday December 1st or still November? I think this is the first. Let me check my calendar. No, Sunday was the first. So today's the first Saturday in December. And I'm sure everybody has been shopping and getting ready for the holidays. I can't believe how quickly everything's going, how fast fall kind of came and went. But then I sort of thought summer came and went pretty fast too. I'm not sure when the actual first day of winter is. Is that later in December? Anyway, it feels like it's here now. So the topic of the day is the gift of the unexpected in tarot. So this touches on a couple of things. Might want to just start off with things like, December's the month of gifting because of the holidays. And have you made out lists for people you want to shop for? And are there tarot people on your list? I haven't bought any new decks in a while. I do have a new one on order that's kind of peculiar from MPC, and it should arrive before the holidays, and I will do a walkthrough. But when it came to the idea of gifting tarot, my mind always runs to stockings hung on the mantelpiece and stocking stuffers. And, regular tarot decks will fit in a stocking, but it makes me think of tarots in a tin. And I want to recommend the one that I have shown before, but I'll show it again today, and that's the Zodiac Tarot in a tin. If you don't know this one, and maybe if you do astrology, which I don't, there is the zodiac sign for each card featured on the card. Hello, Rolf. So that's a nice little gift. Gift of tarot in a tin, gift of the astrological symbols in the cards. Tarot in of itself, I think, is a gift. And also tarot is often unexpected. Sometimes it's a surprise. Mostly it's a surprise. Sometimes it's not as much of a surprise as one might have expected. But I think with tarot, we're sort of learning to expect the unexpected. And that's kind of the value of tarot, I think, in terms of thinking outside of the box and getting different perspectives than we normally tend to lean into. So that is the gift of tarot. I also wanted to mention something about the unexpected. I had an incident a couple weeks ago where I was, in the chat on someone's channel who was doing readings. And I got picked for a reading, and there was a gal just before me. Now, the host of the channel was doing readings, and he was doing her reading. In the middle of the reading, while juggling the reading and the chat room, he looked back at the chat and was looking for clarification on the question and fell into my chat rather than hers and got us mixed up. And when he finally figured out what had happened, I could sense a little bit of panic on his face, as if he was trying to figure out, "Oh, I got it wrong. What do I do now?" Or is there some way to make the wrong right? And it was interesting because I knew, and I think other people in the chat did too, that he was giving her a reading, or rather giving me a reading on her cards, which is very strange. And oddly, there was a little bit of overlap there. So it almost kind of worked. That what he was reading for her was very similar as to what he was reading for me, even though the subjects of our queries was completely different. But I felt real empathy for him because his body language seemed to tell me that he wasn't utterly comfortable with the realization that something was off in the reading. And actually, when he went into clarifying one of my questions on her cards, I could almost read on his face, "Oh, that's odd." Or, he didn't say it, but you could almost read in his expression that, "Gee, I'm going to have to stretch a little bit to make this card work for her reading." And it's because he was, applying my comments to her reading. Was very confusing, but he did kind of fix it for himself. And I have heard said before that anything that happens during a reading is part of the reading. So if you hear a bird outside your window, that's part of the reading. If, something falls off your shelf onto the floor, that's part of the reading. That you take all of these things into account, which would include this idea that two different people could be read for by the same cards, or have the same energy somehow, or could be tied spiritually together somehow. And I think, that's an arguable or justifiable argument, shall we say. But I don't think he felt totally confident in putting that forth. And I could see he was really trying his best to move past it onto the next reading. And I felt really bad for him. I felt extreme empathy for him. I wanted to sort of pat him on the back and say, it's okay. Stuff happens, and maybe it was meant to happen. And yeah, I don't know. Hi, Rochelle. So yeah, this was one of those very awkward situations. I didn't quite know how to deal with it, but I found myself in taking a role in chat where I was really trying to make the reader feel better for having messed up, or having gone a way that was unexpected. So again, I mean, you could say that was a gift of the unexpected in tarot, that something came up that wasn't intended or planned on, but if you believe in guides, maybe the guides pushed him there, or his intuition, or I don't know. Curious what you guys think about that. Heather says, I never really thought of that when it comes to a reading, taking in all things around us during a reading and not just the cards or divination tools at hand. And Rochelle says, everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. Yeah. Ange, hello, Ange, says, often I hear sirens out people's windows during readings, and I always take those things into consideration for the reading. SCB, I didn't know. Their name is Dulcie. They shared that with us a few minutes ago. Just wanted to share. Thank you, Heather. And welcome, Dulcie. I will probably forget that. Sometimes my brain is like a sieve. I may end up still calling you SCB, but that happens. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you and see how you guys felt about it. And what do you, if that were to happen to you, what would you do? Would you just sort of keep mum about it and move on? Or I really wanted to comfort the reader. And it's funny because usually the reader is the one comforting the person they're reading for. But it really felt to me like he was put in the spotlight, and sort of like a deer in the headlights caught in a mistake. Oh, Elspeth, hello, says I'd restart the reading afresh. Yeah, I think I probably would too. I think at the stage he was at, he was so confused or caught off guard that he didn't quite know how to back up and separate out the two issues. So I think that was kind of a problem, and I think he just sort of integrated the two and then moved forward quickly on to the next reading. But you could tell a little bit of that was lingering in his spirit, as he moved forward. It's like, I fucked up and I can't quite leave that behind. Rochelle said, I didn't hear the whole thing, but think the energy that needed to come out came out, and do another reading. Ange, I would restart the reading, cleanse the energy and restart. Yeah, well, it wasn't the energy of the cards so much as it was the focus on the chat, because he did the reading for her, and then he wanted more clarification. So he glanced over to the chat, but instead of seeing her follow-up comments, for some reason, he knew that I was next in line, and he got us mixed up and went into my comment instead of her follow-up comment. So he segued right into my reading in the middle of her reading. And it just, I've lingered on this topic way too long, and I won't mention his name. And if he tunes in, I don't think he watches my channel. If he tunes in, he might be embarrassed that I, touched on this topic. But I thought it was an interesting topic that could happen to any of us that read, or any of us that do live chats. I did a live stream a couple of years ago, I think, and Kristen was on with me, and I was not very good at juggling the chat, and somehow I didn't want to miss anything, so I kept scrolling back. But there was one instance where I kept reading out the same chats that I'd read up to 2 and 3 times before I realized that I was repeating myself. And in the end, I took that off of my channel because I was kind of embarrassed by that. But sometimes, particularly, Chris says she got worried about my mental state. It's true. It was a little worrisome. But I think sometimes I'm in awe of people that can juggle the comments in the chat, because I don't catch them all. I miss them all. And particularly people that have huge chat rooms that scroll by very quickly. It's very difficult, I think. You can, I guess, star things or check them in some way to scroll back or get back to them. Hey, Aspasia Rising, Beth. Doing live streams not easy. We need to give ourselves some credit. It can be tough. Yes, Heather. Sometimes I feel we're in a zone kind of thing, and that's why I'm so bad at even remembering anyone's readings, not even my own. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even know how long I'm going to stay on today. I have a feeling I may not stay the full hour, but I think I picked up a few extra chatters this week, sort of building on the regularity of me, doing a live stream every Saturday now at 12:05, and I was in a panel discussion with Ange and Heather and Rochelle were there as well on Wednesday in the afternoon, and it was on tarot ethics. And she's doing a part 2 in the evening next Wednesday night, or this coming Wednesday night, with different panelists, which could be interesting. And that might be, I don't know if that would be a topic for tarot ethics or not, whether to call somebody out, correct somebody, bring something to their attention, or just keep mum. What do you think about the ethics on that? I guess maybe I think it's all in how it's handled. If you can do it diplomatically, so it's like doesn't embarrass anyone or undercut them, maybe it's okay. But I guess you have to go on a case-by-case situation. You also have to have a sense of the personality of the person and whether they're going to be traumatized by you correcting them or whatever. And I also think we should never take ourselves overly seriously. We all need to have a sense of humor. Often I have to laugh at the tarot when it throws cards at me in a pull that are very funny. You can tell it has a sense of humor, some of the cards that come up when I do a reading, that are so on the mark or sarcastic, or it's just amazing. How it's handled for sure, Robin, and your intention will show. Are you correcting the record or to put them down? Right, exactly, Beth. If you've seen it, others probably did also, so I would have mentioned it. I would say something and make light of it. Yes, diplomatically. Yeah. Life happens, Spirit reminds us sometimes not to take ourselves too seriously and always be kind. Yes. There can never be too much kindness, can there? So anyway, I'm going to go back to this idea of gift, tarot in a tin in the stocking, the Zodiac deck. I'm going to show it to you. Looks like mine is bowed a little bit. You sometimes find that decks just sitting tend to bow a little over time. Mine has just a slight curve in it, and I haven't used it a lot. This is a glossy deck, and those are the backs. I really don't much like sharing or showing glossy decks because they reflect the light, and I get a reflection that obscures the image. I think I had trouble when I did the original walkthrough for this, but I do like it as a deck. I think I only have a couple of decks that have dark backgrounds, and this feels very much like a winter deck to me because it has, winter has early dark nights, and I think it's really fun on cold winter nights to sit by the fire by candlelight and read your tarot. And somehow this feels like it connects with these nighttime images. I guess it would be nighttime images for a Zodiac deck, right? Because you need to see the stars in the sky. Now, a lot of these cards do have some kind of constellation on there. And I don't really do astrology. I just got this because I sort of like the color and the art design of the figures in the deck. What did I miss? I used to be a journalist, and I'm a Virgo, so I can't keep my mouth shut. That's my problem too. If something occurs to me that I feel like I need to say, it's very hard to hold back. I'm a Virgo. Choose kindness and compassion always. Props for being a journalist, Beth. That's a true, real art form that's dying. Yeah, sometimes very tested. Love a dark background. Dark cards in general have a different feel I think they do. Actually, I have now. What's the one by the Mind's Eye Tarot? I think it's called. Do you know that one? That one is primarily a dark deck. It's on linen cardstock. I can't recall the name of the artist. I think it's Olivia something. She's been on Gerald's channel a couple times. Olivia Rose, maybe? Beautiful deck with sort of fairy-like figures. This one has a very kind of very bright pop color graphics in a way, and very clean, but maybe that's why I like them so much on the dark background, because the colors tend to sort of pop. It's like, what can I do here? I'm wrong way around on my sharing here. No, that didn't help. I got my wrong hand holding up the cards. There we go. Olivia Rose. Is that the full size of that tarot? It looks so little in your hands. This is the tarot in a tin size. I believe this does come in regular size, though. I just checked before we went on Amazon to see if it was still available, and I think it did show both decks. Yeah, this also reminds me of a deck that I bought not too long ago that I showed maybe a week or two ago, called the Star Maiden Tarot, which has a very similar kind of quality, sort of like hard edge illustrations in pop colors. And I think most of it is also dark. Well, because of Star Maiden. I don't often see decks on dark backgrounds, so I guess I kind of find them refreshing. And I probably have 7 or 8 tarots in a tin. I think this is the only one that's on the dark side. She has Rochelle has a regular size, and it's a tough shuffle for her. Oh, well, maybe this is better. Is the regular size one glossy finish as well? Because that's the only thing I might change about this, is maybe make it a linen or even just a regular sheen. Yes, it is. Okay. The other thing about, besides the reflection of glossy cards, is they pick up and hold fingerprints a lot. No matter how clean your fingers are, they do seem to pick up fingerprints. I'm doing a heck of a job here showing these. Glossy and slightly larger than standard. Oh. Nice tower card. I had been using these, and so I put them back in order, and I discovered a flaw in the deck that I hadn't noticed the first time around. When we get to, I think it's the 6 of Cups, or is it Pentacles? I think it's the 6 of Cups actually has 7 cups on the card, because I went into a complete panic madly looking for my missing Six of Cups card. The labels on these are legible, but I have dim lighting in here, and it's a little bit small. So I was just counting the symbols on the card, and there were you can spot me or check me when it comes up, but I think I counted 7 cups on, or pentacles on that card. Heather really likes this deck. It's a very pretty deck. It's very friendly and nice. And like I said, I'm not one for, I'm not into astrology, but I don't find that these symbols on here distract or bother me. I'm more bothered by unnecessary stuff like copyrights, that show up on imagery than I am by symbols, which people actually do make use of. Here's my card, the 3 of Wands. What do they do? What dance are they doing? Looks like some sort of Latin dance. The cha-cha-cha. In this deck, I like that they have a lot of clothes patterning, which is a fun way to play with coloring and to put details in the clothing design. I haven't been reciting out the card names, but if you know tarot, you can pick up on these fairly readily, even if you can't see the labels, I think. It really does follow the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is an intriguing 8 of Wands, though. We don't usually see a figure running along with the wands. And I like the sort of Mercury wing heels on the boots or shoes of the figure. It's the best deck Beth has found to learn the astrological associations. It would help Heather to remember zodiac associations for people she reads for. Yeah, see, I just ignore that. I don't use them in my readings. So for now, I won't say never ever. It's a level. I love that tarot can be approached on many levels, and you can go deeper and deeper and deeper, adding layers and layers of interpretation on them and more study. And I am not at the level of astrology, nor do I have any particular desire to be at the moment. I mean, sometimes if I know that a card relates to a particular zodiac sign, and that feels relatable to the person that I'm reading for in terms of the personality, and it adds a little something extra to the reading, I'll put it in. But I'm really not there yet. And in some ways, I think it kind of adds another layer or level between the reader and the querent, because I tend to read a lot intuitively. And intuition is one of those things that if you're reading for someone and you show them an image, often they can see what you're talking about in the image. But if you're just showing them an astrological symbol, that's not really a way for them to relate unless they've studied astrology. So it's, they're just looking at a meaningless symbol. I mean, that's just my particular approach or point of view. Did we get to that Cups card yet? No. Or did we? Maybe it's not Cups. It might be Pentacles. Because there's the 6. That's not it. And 7, so that works out. It must be the Pentacles. There's the 9, which at first glance you don't notice it's a 9, but she's got 2 more cups down by her dress there. Is it 2 more? Yeah, 3, 3, 3. Now, if I can get these shuffled enough, I might do a reading or two after. So get your questions ready if you have a question. Problem is, though, I usually can't get them shuffled very well when I have them in order. Takes me a little bit longer. Now we got swords. Oh, somebody leaving? Oh, Ange left. Okay. Hello, Kaz. I can't enjoy a deck with that type of glossy coating. Yeah, it's definitely challenging. Sometimes I don't mind it, but I definitely don't like it in a situation like this where I have extra light and the light is interfering. It's tricky. I had an early matte version of Cat Black's The Golden Tarot, and I did a trade with a friend who got it when they did a glossy version. And I guess ultimately people didn't like the glossy version because then they did a third one that was sort of linen, which I think is currently out. But I actually liked the glossy one of that one because it's collaged elements from Renaissance and medieval paintings. And they're the kind of thing that if you saw them in a museum, they'd either be under glass or highly varnished. And somehow it felt more museum-like to me or something with those cards on a glossy stock. And also there were gilt edged, and I don't usually like gilt edges, but the fact that they, in museums, masterpieces are framed in gold. So it kind of worked for me aesthetically. It's like sometimes borders work and sometimes they don't. It's all a matter of sort of aesthetics and personal taste, I guess. This is going on Heather's list, definitely. Oh, Rochelle's leaving? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by today and spending time with me. Won't keep you too much longer. But actually, let me put a banner up here. Where is my banner for readings? So just in case you want to pop a question in the chat, then I'll be ready when I get to the end. Okay, here we are with the Pentacles. Yeah. Here's the 5. And then when I was arranging them, here's the 6. But you notice there's 7 pentacles on the 6 card. Now, I didn't notice that first time. And I doubt that. Could that be intentional? I suppose it could be, but I really doubt that it is. I don't know. The head of the figure in this Pentacles card is a half moon. And then this one up here in the sky, this figure has rays coming from it. So I don't know if, wait a minute, this is 6. What am I doing? I must have counted twice in my head somehow. I looked at the symmetry and I thought 3 on one side and 3 on the other. But I measured it out wrong because it's 5 with 1 underneath. See, I really messed up there. So they didn't get it wrong. I got it wrong. Now it's got me wondering about the 6 and the 6 of Pentacles versus the 5 of Pentacles in terms of reading them and thinking about them differently. Actually, if you think about the 5 and the 6, the 5 is usually people left out in the cold that aren't getting their share of warmth and wealth. And the 6 is usually someone sharing. And sometimes it's an even share, and sometimes it's an uneven one where some people are getting more than others. So in a way, there is a little bit of a connection there between the 5 and the 6. Okay. Oh, somehow I have these out of order. At the end here, we have the Knight instead of the King. But anyway, I did a walkthrough of these before. This is just a repeat because I thought it, like I said, because it's in a tin, I thought it might make a fun stocking stuffer. And I don't have anything new to recommend. Oh, Heather, were you a museum guard? I knew somebody else that did that. And she wanted to retire for years and couldn't because she got funding to extend her education in art to get her master's. And she was indentured to the museum to pay off the loan by agreeing to work there for a certain number of years down in Baltimore. And she's been retired now, finally, a couple of years, and very grateful to be so and relieved of her debt. Excuse me, got a little sniffle. It's that weather. Winter weather sniffles. Yes, security guard for 3 years. Well, she was, I don't know how many years, probably 20 or something. Long time. And lots of internal politics, too. Anybody have a question, or did I miss anybody's question or a reading? If you are readers, you might want to consider giving gifts of readings to people. Hi, Ben. Also, I recognize so many people in the chat who have channels. And if you're not all subscribed to everyone else's channel, which you probably are, please do. They're all wonderful and worthy channels with different aspects and perspectives. And yeah, everybody does something a little different in a different way. So if anybody had a question, I haven't seen it. And I'm having trouble finding it scrolling back. So I'm just going to probably close with a general reading. Well, this, like I said, this is the first week in December. This is the month of giving and evenings of light and celebration and gathering together and staying warm. It's family time. Goodness, can we combine all that into one reading? We'll see. Again, these probably are not shuffled very well because I'm overhanding them from a completely ordered deck. What I might do is just pull cards out of the deck instead of pulling them off the top. That might work better. I've been teaching my friend Maria how to read tarot, and everybody has different methods. She fans the cards out and then hovers over the cards and then pulls cards that speak to her, which is, a way to do it. I don't do it that way, but I take them actually in sequence off the top after I've shuffled, and that works for me. But yeah, everybody's got their own little practices and rituals. Oh, Heather had a birthday. Happy birthday. Did a live last night with fellow readers. It was fun. Beth's Thanksgiving was a combined 70th birthday, and let's see, all 4 kids, their families, 5 dogs, called it the Portal of Chaos. Great time, though. All right, reading time for Christmas month or holiday month. Time to celebrate with the 6 of Wands. People, places, things that we're passionate about. Moving forward. Some little minor celebration, gathering together how far we've come and where we might go next from here. Celebrating our accomplishments, our achievements, and what we feel compelled to pursue next. The Empress. The Empress is a comforting soul, comforting figure, motherly figure. I think Christmas is a kind of a motherly, mothering sort of month around home and hearth. Lots of cooking, gift wrapping, decorating. A lot of things I think we associate more with mom probably than we do with dad. So yeah, that's kind of nice actually. Celebrating mom in the month of December. And the Virgin Mary, if you relate to that particular faith. And the Fool. I love the Fool. Well, this is a nice little spread. The Fool is kind of like kids on Christmas morning discovering their gifts. and marveling at the idea of Santa Claus in the night. So we've got the Passion of the Wands coming into December, moving towards a celebration. We've got the Mother Empress sort of making us all feel warm and cozy in celebrating. And we've got the Fool, which is a very, very innocent, childlike card, like the children card. It's the birth of Christ, and it's, a lot of people say it's the children's holiday, Christmas. So that's kind of intriguing that we've got this lovely, comforting, warm spread. Now, when I talk about the sense of humor, I pulled a fourth card, and sometimes you shouldn't do that. Sometimes you should just stop when everything feels right. But just like a lot of things can go right during Christmas, just like Thanksgiving dinners, things can go wrong. We've got the Five of Wands. Family arguments can come up, little tussles and wrestles and, little disagreements, little, when you get the family together, if you got a big family, everybody wants something done their way, or they're not happy with the gift they got, or somebody spent too much or too little. There's always something to argue about. But yeah, I think I choose to focus on the first three cards rather than the last one. This feels a little bit more like the aftermath of the holidays, or Boxing Day on towards New Year's. Anyway, we'll see, what comes up in the weeks ahead. And I'm going to let you go a little bit early today so you can all run out and play like a fool and enjoy the Christmas that's coming, and that sort of like spirit of adventure and play, and the joy in find the joy in shopping for or making gifts as much as you do in receiving them. Yeah, our inner child. Dad couldn't even get a room at the inn. Meanwhile, Mom gave birth in a freaking barn and had to be gracious about getting frankincense and myrrh. That's funny, Beth. Yeah. All right. Thank you all. And I hope to see you again next Saturday at 12:05. Letting you go about 10 minutes or so early. Maybe I'll focus a little bit better on topics next time to stretch me to the full hour. Good night, or good day. See you next week.